Hello everyone. In this video I will discuss one of the films called 65, and never forget that I always pray for you and your family to be happy and healthy always. 65 million years ago, on a planet called Somaris, Mills, a space pilot, was trying to convince his wife that he had to go on a 2-year expedition. This was done so they could get the money needed to treat their daughter, who was suffering from a disease. After bidding farewell to his wife and daughter, Mills departed using a spacecraft, heading to the intended planet. However, 2 years later, when he was on his way back to the planet Somaris, his spacecraft was suddenly hit by a meteor shower, forcing Mills to make an emergency landing on a planet that had never been mapped before. After treating the wound on his stomach and putting on his EV suit, Mills soon realized that his spacecraft had split into 2 parts, and worse, all the cryogenic tubes containing passengers destined for Somaris had been ejected from the spacecraft. Mills immediately grabbed his modern weaponry and went out to assess the situation. It was then discovered that all the passengers inside the cryogenic pods had died and could no longer be saved. This left Mills feeling extremely frustrated, and he briefly contemplated suicide. However, thanks to memories of his daughter, Mills abandoned that idea and instead sent an emergency message to Somaris about his spacecraft being split into 2 parts and stranded on a planet, which we eventually came to know as Earth 65 million years ago. Not long after, Mills received a signal from one of the cryogenic pods containing a young girl who, fortunately, was still alive. Mills immediately extracted the girl with plans to move her into the cabin of the spacecraft. However, on his way, Mills found a footprint from a creature of immense size. While waiting for the girl to regain consciousness, Mills decided to go out to inspect the situation, where he found the carcass of a large animal lying near a hot spring. It was then that Mills noticed a glint of light from the mountains across, which, upon investigation, turned out to be a part of his spacecraft equipped with an escape pod room, which was his only hope to return to Somaris. While inspecting below the cliff, Mills was suddenly startled by a creature, and he immediately attacked it until it died. On his way back to the spacecraft, Mills found the girl he had previously saved now awake and appearing frightened. Unfortunately, the girl, later known as Koa, spoke a different language from Mills, and due to the universal translator device also being damaged, they both had difficulty communicating with each other. Therefore, Mills resorted to using sand drawing as a means to explain his plan to Koa, which involved traveling a distance of 15 kilometers to reach the location of the escape pod that could take them home to Somaris. Fortunately, Koa gradually understood what Mills was saying, and because she kept mentioning the words parents, indicating her desire to reunite with her family, Mills lied by saying that his family was there. He did this out of necessity to ensure Koa's safety and convince her to accompany him for her own well-being. During the journey, Koa briefly saw strange lights in the sky and picked up a type of berry, which was later discovered to be highly poisonous, prompting Mills to forbid her from eating it. They also managed to rescue a trapped dinosaur from a pit, although their efforts were in vain, as the dinosaur they saved later became prey for another dinosaur. After cleaning up and continuing their journey, Mills climbed a tall tree to check the distance to the escape pod from their current location. However, the appearance of 2 insects there caused Mills to accidentally fall from the height, dislocating his right arm. The situation worsened with the arrival of predatory dinosaurs that began to surround them. Fortunately, at this critical moment, Koa arrived just in time to help Mills fix his arm. While Mills fought off the dinosaurs, Koa was asked to leave and hide, but unfortunately the place chosen by Koa turned out not to be entirely safe, as another dinosaur immediately dragged her body to an open plain. Luckily, Mills arrived just in time to rescue her. During the night, while they were resting inside a cave, Mills's scanning system detected a cluster of asteroids approaching Earth. However, at that time, Mills ignored it, thinking it might just be a regular asteroid shower. But when they were sleeping, Koa suddenly started foaming at the mouth due to poisoning from the berries she had eaten earlier. Fortunately, Mills quickly took action to treat Koa using the medical device he had with him. At that moment, they realized that a large creature was lurking behind the cave entrance. They then escaped by going deeper into the cave and Mills used his scanning device to find an alternative way out. They reached a very narrow passage, causing Mills to be separated from Koa due to the collapse of unstable rocks. This incident frustrated Mills, as he had left Koa alone, but he refused to give up and tried to find another path. However, his progress was hindered as there were other dinosaurs in the cave trying to hunt him. Luckily, Mills survived the attack and managed to exit the cave, only to find out that the asteroid shower was getting closer and would soon hit Earth. At the same time, Mills heard Koa's screams as she was being chased by a dinosaur. Unfortunately, while Mills ran towards the source of Koa's voice, he accidentally got trapped in quicksand that slowly engulfed his body. On the other hand, Koa, upon hearing Mills calling for her, fought with all her strength against the dinosaur using Mills's bomb. Fortunately, Koa arrived just in time to save Mills, who was fully submerged in the quicksand. Continuing their journey, they finally arrived at their destination, and fortunately, the escape pod there was still functioning properly. There was a brief argument after Koa realized that her parents were not there. Fortunately, Mills managed to calm Koa and convince her to return with him to Samaris. However, as they prepared to take off, the spacecraft was suddenly struck by an asteroid shower, causing it to crash into the valley below. Although they survived the incident, a large dinosaur suddenly appeared there, trying to prey on them by crushing the spacecraft debris. Mills immediately rushed out to fight the dinosaurs, only to realize that there was not just one. Mills continued to shoot at the dinosaurs until his weapon ran out of ammunition, but unfortunately, another seemingly more ferocious dinosaur appeared. Immediately, Mills instructed Koa to launch the escape pod while he himself tried to lure the dinosaur towards the hot spring area, but unfortunately, the hot water did not spout in time. Just as the dinosaur was about to make Mills its prey, Koa arrived and stabbed the dinosaur using a bone previously coated with poisonous berries, causing the dinosaur to stagger over the pit, which then spewed out the hot water directly beneath its body. In the end, Mills and Koa survived and managed to fly away using the escape pod just as the meteor that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago began to strike the entire surface of the Earth, and the film concluded. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.